Imagine two identical communities, same population, same demographics. Both land the exact same massive manufacturing facility, complete with identical funding and the same blueprints. Fast forward 5 years. The first community is thriving, buzzing with new local businesses and steady job growth. The second community remains completely stagnant, looking exactly as it did before the massive influx of capital. If the funding is equal and the physical projects are identical, why did the long-term realities of these two towns diverge so sharply? The answer reveals a flaw in how we measure civic growth. The sheer size of a financial investment does not guarantee a prosperous future. For decades, city leadership has operated under a very specific framework. You sit in a boardroom, unroll a blueprint, and look at the physical map of the city. This is the traditional needs-based model of community development. Here, civic success is tallied strictly by the volume of completed construction. A repaved highway, communally constructed high school, a sprawling business park. These isolated projects successfully solve immediate, localized problems. A bridge gets cars across the river. A school puts students in modern classrooms. But on their own, they rarely trigger broader economic growth. We have spent a century asking the wrong question. Planners look at a map and ask, what does this community need? Instead of evaluating the overarching system. Good intentions and heavy infrastructure spending will ultimately stall if they are dropped into a fragmented, disconnected environment. To fix this, we have to zoom out and look at the entire civic landscape. In many places, schools, housing developments, and commercial districts operate in complete isolation from one another. The shift happens when leaders change their primary inquiry. Instead of asking what a community needs, they begin asking what creates opportunity. With that perspective, physical infrastructure, education, and workforce development stop competing for attention and budget. They become interconnected parts of a unified ecosystem. The guiding philosophy here is simple. Infrastructure creates opportunity, people create prosperity. The roads and the buildings are merely the static platform. The residents determine whether that platform actually generates wealth. A community's true power lies in intentionally designing environments where human potential can interact with those new platforms. To understand how this works in practice, we can look at this split-screen flowchart comparing economic circulation. On the left side, a new housing development is built. A straight line of capital moves from the investor directly to the physical house. The process stops there. Outside developers capture the profit, the financial momentum exits the community, and the physical house remains isolated from the local economy. Now look at the right side, the opportunity model. Here, the exact same initial investment intentionally targets and hires local contractors. This creates a compounding effect. Those local contractors use the capital to train local apprentices. Those apprentices acquire the skills necessary to eventually launch their own independent businesses. These new local businesses then create permanent jobs, forming a continuous loop that feeds prosperity back into the town's economy. Economic circulation anchors opportunity locally. It ensures that today's physical project becomes tomorrow's career, tomorrow's business, and tomorrow's community leader. And when a city connects its physical space to its human capital, the entire civic strategy shifts. This is the driving force behind the Resilient Communities Project. It serves as an actionable framework for the opportunity model. The core rule of this framework is that communities must invest in human outcomes. You explicitly tie physical infrastructure projects to education, leadership development, and innovation. Linking infrastructure to human outcomes ensures a project's value lasts long after the ribbon-cutting ceremony. It builds a foundation for decades of growth. This shift changes the way the next generation sees their hometown. An opportunity-rich culture breeds confidence. It gives young people a reason to build their lives locally rather than leaving for a different city. History shows that a community's footprint is never defined by the volume of concrete it poured or the square footage of the buildings it erected. A truly thriving community is remembered for the opportunities it generated, the local talent it inspired, and the future it made possible for its people.